Hello and welcome to another video on Microsoft Fabric. Microsoft Fabric is now generally available, and along with general availability, last week November 2023 release of the Microsoft Fabric has also been announced, and there are tons of features which has came in that particular release. One of the most interesting feature is the enablement of direct lake on data warehouse semantic models. We are going to explore what is this direct lake for data warehouse means for us and how it is different from direct query. What are going to be the performance differences and how can we differentiate is the warehouse using direct lake mode or direct query mode by using the performance analyzer on Power BI desktop. So let's begin today's journey by looking at the release notes of Microsoft Fabric general availability, Microsoft Fabric November release, and looking at the documentation of what is this direct lake mode. So this is the announcement that Microsoft Fabric workloads are now generally available, and once you click on the general availability, you will see another blog where you can get a lot more information about what customers are saying. You can also see who are the partners who can help you out in implementing this, and what are the additional Fabric resources like Microsoft Fabric free trial, Microsoft Fabric website, Ignite session, Microsoft Fabric update blog, Fabric technical documentations, supercharge organization analytics and democratization of insights, Fabric community, Azure Innovate. You can also click on the pricing tab and see how you can purchase the Microsoft Fabric. Now, as you can see, F64, which is equivalent of P1 capacity of Power BI. What are the other things you have to purchase? You have to purchase 1 lake storage, 1 lake cache. And so 1 lake cache, in case you want to buy, why do you need 1 lake cache? 1 lake cache is built for KQL cache storage and data activator retained. Similarly, the networking charges, if you want to see the bandwidth pricing, you can click on that and you can get the bandwidth pricing. So based on that, you should be able to get what cost you are going to bear for Microsoft Fabric. I will provide you more details on this in upcoming videos. The feature which we are today really interested in is one of the feature which has been announced in Microsoft Fabric November 2023 release, and there are a lot of features. You can see there are tons of features which has been released, and because of that I am directly taking you to the place where I am most interested in, is that Power BI semantic model support for direct lake on Synapse Data Warehouse. So data warehouse now support the direct lake. So what is this direct lake? We do have talked a little bit about this, but let's go to the definition of direct lake first of all. As per Microsoft, direct lake mode is a groundbreaking semantic model capabilities for analyzing very large data volumes in Power BI. Direct lake is based on loading Parquet format files directly from data lake without having to query lakehouse endpoints and without having to import or duplicate data into Power BI model. Direct lake is a fast path to load the data from the lake straight to Power BI engine ready for analysis. Now, what happens in case of import mode? So import mode, if you want, you actually keep the data in the Power BI. Direct query, you don't keep the data in the Power BI, but you do query the source. Basically, if it is a SQL source, it's going to generate a SQL query for that. Now, direct lake is not like that. Direct lake is going to make sure that the delta Parquet format in which we have saved the file in the lake, one lake, which is either warehouse or lakehouse, whatever you have, is being saved in that format, is going to be queried using the direct lake method. Now, direct lake is really powerful, and we are going to take a use case today where we are going to say how direct lake and direct query are different and how we can differentiate between whether it is using direct lake or direct query. Now, when you're using this, you should also be aware of certain limitations. Now, these limitations are available at multiple places, and there is a fallback option. Now, you have to understand this fallback option also. Power BI semantic models In direct lake mode, read delta table directly from one lake. However, DEX query on direct lake mode exceeds limits of CPU or user feature that does not support lake mode. Like SQL views. Please remember the SQL views in warehouse. In warehouse, SQL views are not supported, and we are going to take advantage of this to explain to you. The query will fall back to direct query mode. In direct query mode, queries use SQL to retrieve the result from SQL endpoint of the lakehouse or warehouse, which can impact your query performance. So these are the important things to note down. You can disable fallback to direct query mode if you want to process DEX query in a pure direct lake mode only. Disabling fallback is recommended if you don't need a fallback to direct query. So you can do that. Now, if you come down, there is also limitations given in terms of which capacity you are in, and that is why we always talk about this F64 capacity. So below F64 capacity, there is a limitation on the model size. And read out this: for direct lake semantic model, max memory represent the upper memory resource limit for how much data can be paged. In effect, it does not guardrail because the exceeding it does not cause a fallback to direct query. However, it can have performance impact if the amount of data is large enough to cause paging in and out of the model from one lake data. So this is the limit, is F64 onwards, because from there this max model size limit is being taken off. Look at the number of table rows which is supported is 1500 million rows is supported. Rows group per table is this much, and packet file per table is this much per file. And the max memory in GB, which is also 25 GB, and post that pagination can happen. But the model size is something which is unlimited here in F64, and these things keep on increasing. And why this is increasing? Because basically F64 is a capacity, F128 is again a capacity. Every capacity will have more and more max memory, and because of that these limitations are keep on increasing. Now fallback behavior is automatic, direct lake only, direct query only. These are the fallback model. Now what we want to do here today is, we don't want to go much into the details of this one. I'll give you the link of this blog so that you can go ahead and read out more details about when it's going to happen and how it's going to deal with that situation. It is always must know as a architect of fabric or a designer of the fabric that when it is going to go to direct query mode from direct lake mode. Now we would like to take a very simple example today and would like to understand that what is the difference we will see and how would we identify that are we in a direct lake mode or direct query mode. So what I've done is, for today's video, I created first of all a new workspace, 01 GA Fabric. Yes, Fabric is generally available, so GA1 Fabric, 01 GA Fabric workspace, and I've created it by clicking on the workspace, new workspace. I have explained this in my previous video, so those of you who have not watched the series, please watch that. Please note down there are few differences which has happened because of GA availability, like the tenant settings have changed. We have the warehouse connector available over a period of time. There are a few things which has changed over a period of time, so those changes you will see, but is still using those videos you will be able to do most of the things which has been performed there in the similar fashion. Now what I have done in this new workspace, first of all I created two warehouses, warehouse 01 and warehouse 02. In warehouse 01 I'm going to store my tables. In warehouse 02 I'm going to store views on the same table. Now what I've done is I created a Dataflow Gen 2, and let me open and showcase you what I have in this Dataflow Gen 2. In this Dataflow Gen 2, using my file which I'm always giving it to you, the fabric file, So the file which we always use for Microsoft Fabric is sales data for Fabric, Microsoft Fabric XLS. I'm going to give you download link of that one. You can also do. And one thing which I'm going to do here is this time I'm also going to give you the template on the GitHub. So you don't even have to write down the steps to import it, or you know, if I've created a column or something, you don't have to do it. Yes, if you are using a Copilot, which is available here, and you need a F64 purchased capacity for that, you will be able to do some of these tasks like creating date table or adding additional column using the Copilot. So go ahead and try that out if you already have the capacity with you. With the trial capacity, it might not work for you. So as usual, I have an item table, customer table, sales table, and in the sales table, I have added couple of additional column, gross amount and discount amount, and then geography table as is. Date table I've created here using the Power Query code. This is the same code I've shared in the past, but as I'm going to share the template with you along with this video, you will be able to get that. For all of them, I have set up a destination. So I can see my query settings here, and I can click on Copilot here, button here to close the Copilot. And as you can see, I have already set the destination as warehouse, and all these are going to warehouse 01. All the tables are going to warehouse 01. Let me showcase you one more table. So all the tables going to warehouse 01. I published it. Data is already been loaded, so I don't have to do that step. I have shown you this step many times. So you should be pretty perfect on doing that. In case you face some issue, you can watch the previous videos. Now, let me go to data warehouse 01 and showcase you my tables. So I have created my model, and my model is basically all my dimension tables are joined with my sales table, one-to-many single directional relationship. Now to test the performance today, what I've also done is I've created a measure. I've knowingly created a cumulative measure. The reason for creating a cumulative measure is that it is an expensive measure because it's done the grouping of data from the starting, the beginning of period. I only have 30,000 rows, but I'm going to tell you that this measure itself is sufficient enough to tell you the performance differences. So what is this measure? Calculate sum of sales, filter all of date table where date.date is less than equal to max of date.date. So this is warehouse 01. The warehouse 02 is very similar to this one. So let's go to warehouse 02 now. So warehouse 02 is exact replica of warehouse 01, but there is a difference. Everything in the warehouse 2 is views. So there is no table here. If you look at the left hand side, there are no tables. Everything is a view here, and same kind of joins are there. So this is the same model with the difference that these are views, so that we can use that fallback option of going to direct query. And again, cumulative sales, same measure has been created. I've kept the name same, and I'll tell you why I have done that. I'll tell you the method how you can switch between the models. Switch between the models which are across warehouses or across lake houses if you keep the structure same. How can you utilize this switching of model? So we are going to take that example today. To showcase this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Power BI Desktop today. I've already opened Power BI Desktop and I'm bringing that on this screen. Make sure you have logged in using the same credential you are using on Power BI service where you have the lakehouse and warehouse, to make sure that you are able to connect with the dataset easily. Now on the Power BI Desktop, click on the Get Data under the Home tab. Inside that, go to More, and inside that one, go to Microsoft Fabric Preview. Power BI Dataset, connect, and Warehouse 01 is the fun thing which I'm going to bring in first time. Now the data set is being loaded here. I'm going to start creating my visual. So I'll bring in I will start creating my visual. For that, I'm going to bring in month here from the date table. Now I'm going to bring my cumulative measure. Now before I do that, let me go to view and let me go to performance analyzer. I need to make sure that it is using the direct lake mode. So let me start recording and let me bring in cumulative sale here. And you can see it has loaded pretty fast. Let me say refresh visual. You are not seeing any direct query here. Note down this thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to home. I'm going to go to transform data, data source setting under that in the home tab. And I'm going to bring in warehouse 02 data set. This is the symbol for data set. This is warehouse. I'll say connect. Now it will change the model and reload the same query. You will start seeing here changing the model, and it's going to bring in the data. And we are going to repeat this exercise. So it has taken 5 seconds. Look at time is almost 10 times, but we don't believe in this time. We say, let's say refresh visual, because last time it taken more time on the second one, few milliseconds. Now it has came in 2.5 second. So 2.5 second versus 356 milliseconds, or 0.3 second versus 2.5 second. That's the difference. Or maybe it has cached. Okay, so let's switch on the model again. So go to data source setting. We do the same exercise. Now we shift back to warehouse 01 and see what is the impact we have. Now it started doing that. And this time it has taken 1.1 second. We have shifted the model, which is still 5 times faster from what we have last time. Let's say refresh visual. It has came in 292 seconds. So while the cumulative on the direct query is taking min time, which is this much, which is around 2.5 seconds, the cumulative is taking less than 3 seconds on direct lake mode. This is direct lake mode. See, there is no direct query here. The differentiator is this. So now before we end this video, let's do one more switch back to warehouse 02 dataset. So changing the model, shifting the gear, 3.9 seconds for the first time. Refresh the visual. 2.4 seconds. So 2.4 seconds versus 0.3 second, 8 times faster. This simple measure just on 30,000 rows is working as fast as 8 times in direct lake mode compared to direct query mode. That is the kind of differences you can get. So make sure that you are ensuring that you continue to use direct lake mode in case of warehouse to get this amazing performance. So why don't you go ahead and try this out, and do let me know what else you want me to cover in this particular series. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you.